Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmad Paramagurubhyo Namaha, Asmad Sarvagurubhyo Namaha. So we offer our respects to all our teachers, and we're going to continue on with the reading Hari Bhakti Vilasa number 5. We're beginning to get to the puja proper of the deity. The temple puja or house puja, the Hari Bhakti Vilasa doesn't make a distinction necessarily, but we can imagine that we're worshipping a deity of Krishna in the temple. And last time we were discussing about different nyasas. Nyasa means placement, and placement of meditation and placement and chanting of particular bija mantras and other mantras while touching different parts of the body, or touching near to different parts of the body by bhava, by meditation, because some parts of the body below the waist we don't actually touch, or some parts which are not considered to be pure we don't touch directly, but we touch near those places. So we talked about the mantra, the mantra nyasa, which comes before chanting of any mantra, and we also talked about the matrika nyasa, first of all, which has to do with the goddess Saraswati being the embodiment of all the different letters in the Sanskrit alphabet. So there are two types of matrika nyasa. There's the external and the internal, and the external one is done 4 times, and the internal one is done once. And so we also discussed about the chakra system in the body, the Kundalini yoga system, and how there are different chakras with different petals, and each petal of the different chakras has a different letter on it, or a bij mantra on it, in the matrika nyasa. So all the bij mantras, which means the letters with the anuswara or visarga, or sometimes the anuswara and visarga added to them, are used in the matrika nyasa. And then after the external form of matrika nyasa is the internal matrika nyasa. Then there is the Keshavadi Nyasa, and after the Keshavadi Nyasa, which uses 51 names of the Lord, of different forms of the Lord, with his consorts, with the corresponding consorts, touching different parts of the body, and then after that we did the Tattva Nyasa, and Tattva Nyasa also is a very long nyasa which describes different principles, tattvas. And before that, we were describing about pranayamaha and Buddha Shuddhi, and we also described different types of pranayamaha. We had the ordinary pranayamaha with using just the omkara, chanting, counting of the omkara while inhaling, holding, and exhaling to control the breath. We also discussed a little bit about the pranayama that we know from before, from doing Sanyavandana, the Vedic pranayamaha, which uses the Dirgha Gayatri made up of Omkara plus the 7 Vyahritis, Bhurbhava Suvaha Mahajanatapa Satyam, the Gayatri Mantra, Savitri Gayatri Mantra, and what's called Gayatri Siras Mantra, the head mantra of Gayatri, Om Apojyotira Samritam Brahma Bhurbhava Svaham, and putting those all together, we get a mantra called Dirgha Gayatri. So we use that also for Vedic pranayamaha. Then we also discussed about 2 other types of Pancharatric pranayamaha, using the full Gopal Mantra, using the full 18-syllable Gopal Mantra and chanting it in the mind while holding the breath, breathing in, holding the breath, and exhaling. And also, which is somewhat easier, counting Klim Bij, the Klim Bij, which is the Bija mantra for the Gopal Mantra. It's Krishna Bij, Klim. So by counting that, we could also do a type of pranayamaha, which we should do before chanting the Gopal Mantra. Okay, so we discussed all those things. And now we're going to look at Hari Bhakti Vilasa, and we're going to move on to the next topic. And the next topic is called Pitanyasa, and you would think it has to do with the body, but let's see what it says. But it's a visualization of the pitam. The pitam is where the deity sits, and this is a pancharatric thing. So let's have a look at the Hari Bhakti Vilas, and we'll first of all go through the section in the Mula, in the original verses, and then we'll look at the implementation. So that brought us all up to text 133 in the fifth chapter of Hari Bhakti Vilas. So Ata Pitanyasa. So Ata means there's a new topic. Pitanyasa. We're going to talk about the Pitanyasa. Pita is again the altar that the deity sits on is called the Pitam. Any seat that somebody sits on is actually can be called a Pitam. For instance, Vyasasana, where a guru or a teacher will sit, that's called also a Pitam. If there's a Swami who's the head of a mutt, he sits on a seat, that his seat is called a Pitam. It's more or less, we can call it the throne. We can call it the throne. In terms of deity worship, the Simhasana, the asana, the lion seat, the lion throne, or it's the place where the deity sits. So here we're going to talk about the Pitanyasa in the body and also externally. So one should then consider his body as a place of worship. Right? Why do we consider the body as a place of worship? Because the super soul, the Paramatma, is there within the heart, right? And so therefore we can worship the Lord within the heart. So if we consider the body to be like the altar, our body is like an altar which the Lord is sitting on in our heart. So one should consider his body as a place of worship and thus perform the nyasa of the Lord's energies in each and every limb while chanting his mantra beginning with Om. Chanting his mantra beginning with Om. Okay, so continuing on with text 134, 135. Within one's heart, one should perform the nyasa of Adara Shakti. There doesn't need to be a comma here. It's one thing. Adara Shakti. Prakriti, Kurma, Ananta, the earth, the ocean of milk, the effulgent Sweatadweep, and the jewel altar, and the wish-fulfilling tree. Okay, so when we're worshiping Krishna underneath a wish-fulfilling tree, or what's called a kalpa vriksha, a desire tree, in Vrindavan, and or we could be worshiping Radha Krishna. If we're worshiping Radha Krishna, we're imagining them to also be on a jeweled altar underneath a wish-fulfilling tree, which is called, as we said, a kalpa vriksha or a desire tree. If there are other deities involved, here we can take this to be like different forms of Vishnu. In Sweatadweep on a jeweled altar underneath a desire tree, but there are other deities which we might meditate on being in different places. The Guru or Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Gauranga is in a place in Navadweep where he's being worshipped. So there are different conceptions or meditations of the place in which we are worshipping the deity or the altar or the Pitam which he's standing on. Okay, so continuing on with text 135. Then with the Bhuvaneshwari Bij. Bhuvaneshwari is a form of Devi, and her bija, which is Preem. One should perform the nyasa of the enlightened spirit soul and 9 energies of the Lord on the 8 petals in the 8 directions of the lotus, which is situated within the heart. So we have to meditate on the heart and a lotus within the heart, or it could be the heart chakra. And that particular, I'm not sure whether if we look at the Kundalini system, if we see whether the heart chakra has 8 petals, I'm not sure whether that was true or not. But in any case, here we're meditating upon the heart as being like a lotus, and the deity is there in the lotus, and the lotus has 8 petals. On those petals, we consider 9 energies. So these energies are, the names of the 9 energies are Vimala, Utkarshini, Jnana, Kriya, Yoga, Prahvi, Satya, Ishana, and Anugraha. Right? Now, in Sri Vaikuntham, I believe the meditation, these are in the form of Devis. These are in the form of goddesses. And those goddesses are holding chamaras, and they're fanning with a yak's tail whisk chamara. They're fanning the Lord, or the chamara is typically used in the royal palaces or in any place to keep flies off. Of course, there's no flies in Vaikuntha, but anyway, the point is that it is a symbol of royalty to be fanned with a chamara. Okay, so I'm not quite sure here if the imagery is that. Of course, these are energies, so they're usually seen as female form. So we can meditate on them as being in female form. After that, one should perform the Nyasa of the Pita Mantra while meditating on the predominating sage meter and objective, or Viniyogaha. So we have the Rishi, the Chanda, and the Viniyogaha of the 18-syllable mantra. Okay, so up until now, we haven't actually, although we did the Gopal Pranayam, the Gopal Mantra Pranayam, or we have done the Klimbija Pranayam, but we haven't actually used the Gopal Mantra. So the idea here is that before using the Gopal Mantra, we're going to mention, as we did before with the Mantra Nyasa, we're going to do the Nyasa of the Gopal Mantra. So that'll be explained. So text 142. Those who engage in the deity worship of Sri Krishna with undivided attention know perfectly well that the previously mentioned entities, such as the ocean of milk, actually refer to Mathura, Vrindavan, the groves of Vrindavan, and the Kadamba tree. Okay, so in this previous sloka, or set of slokas that talk about the meditation of the Pita Ratnanyasa, sorry, not Ratna, Pitanyasa, the Pitanyasa. Pita Ratnanyasa is another thing which comes in installation in the 19th chapter. So it means to establish the throne of the Lord with jewels underneath the Lord. But here we're just talking about the throne of the Lord, and we're talking specifically of the throne of the deity, which is the super soul, and meditation on that. So we have to meditate on that. So while the quotation given above, we don't know where it's from exactly like that, but he's talking about Adar Shakti, Kurma, Ananta, the earth, the ocean of milk, the Sweatadweep, the jeweled altar, and the wish-fulfilling tree. These can all be used in general Vishnu worship. So specifically, though, the devotees of Lord Krishna, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they tend to think of the Lord situated in Vrindavan, and so they think of these things as they meditate upon Mathura, Vrindavan, the groves of Vrindavan. Right within Mathura district, there's Vrindavan. Within Vrindavan, there's the groves of Vrindavan, and within the groves of Vrindavan, there's a Kadamba tree, which is also considered a wish-fulfilling tree as far as Krishna worship is concerned. And Krishna or Radha Krishna are situated underneath this tree, and that's how we should think of them. And therefore, we think of Krishna in the heart like that. Okay. So just Gopal is just explaining that, when worshipping other Vishnu type of deities, one might be thinking about Sweatadweep and these other things. But in the case of worshipping Krishna, right, we have to think of these particular things which are in relationship to Krishna, where he was born, which is what I was saying about, like, when you're worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Pitam has to be in Navadvip. Right, okay, so text 143, right? So it mentions here here we get a mention of a verse from Brahma Samhita, the 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita, which is full of all Gaudiya Vaishnava doctrine. And it's actually at the end of the Govindam Adipurusham prayers, right? So the last, it's a description of Sweatadweep, or it's a description of of the Pitam, of the place where Krishna is in the spiritual world. Okay, so Goloka Vrindavan. So it says, I worship that transcendental seat known as Sweatadweep, where numberless milk cows always emit transcendental oceans of milk, where there is eternal existence of transcendental time, who is ever present, without past or future, and hence is not subject to the quality of passing away, even for the space of half a moment. That realm is known as Goloka only to a very few self-realized souls in this world. Like that. So probably many of you know this this verse. Sayatra chirabdi shravati surabibhyas chasumaham nimeshad dakyo vabrajati nahiyatrapi samaya vaje sweta dvipam tamahamiha golokamitiyam idantaste santak chiti viralachara katipaye. So, okay. So this is specifically, this mantra can be chanted and as like a dhyana mantra or a meditation mantra on that particular place where we're meditating upon Krishna within the heart as being situated. Okay, so continuing on with text 144 to 145, Atha Pita Mantra. So now we're going to talk about the Pita Mantra, which is a mantra that has to be chanted. This is coming from Kramadipika, again, a Nimbarka text by Keshava Kashmiri. And there was a Vaishnava tantric tradition in Kashmir, but today most people think of Kashmiri Hinduism as being mostly Shaiva. So there's a Shaiva tantric tradition there too, but there's also a Vaishnava tantric tradition. And this Kramadipika is a very important book, as stated before, for Hari Bhakti Vilasa, because most of the puja, the initiation, the Purascharya, all these different rituals in Hari Bhakti Vilasa, many of them do come from this Kramadipika. So here he's quoting again Kramadipika, probably the most quoted text in Hari Bhakti Vilasa, Kramadipika. Okay, and it has to do, why? Because the Kramadipika gives rituals all using the Gopal Mantra. And that's what we're using here, because that's in the second Vilas, that's the mantra which the devotee of Krishna is initiated into, and that's the mantra which is going to be the main mantra of worship. So here it says the Pita Mantra begins with Om, Omkar, the Pranava, followed by Namaha, Bhagawan in the fourth dative case, right? So that will be Bhagavate. Vishnu, Sarva Bhutatma, Vasudeva, Sarvabhutatma, Vasudeva, Sarvabhuta Samyoga, Padma, Pitatmane, and ends in Namaha. This is the great Pita Mantra. The chanting of this mantra is required for worshipping the deity. So if we're worshipping, according to Hari Bhakti Vilasa, we've found that there are several times when something is being mentioned here in Hari Bhakti Vilasa, and it says very clearly that you must do this particular thing, like that. So that's to sort of emphasize that if you're preparing a prayoga or a procedure, step-by-step procedure for doing the worship, don't leave this out, because this is an important step. So the mantra is, again, Om Namo Bhagavate Vishnave Sarva Bhutatmane Vasudevaya Sarva Bhutatmane Samyoga Padma Hitatmane Namaha. Okay, so we'll find out exactly how to use that mantra when we look at the prayoga. Text 146, after that, we have the Ata Rishyadi Smaranam. So Rishyadi means the particular Rishi, right? The seer of the mantra, right? Now we're going to talk about the Gopal Mantra. The seer of the mantra, the meter and the objective, the Chandaha and the Viniyogaha. And remember, we learned that type of mantra nyasa, and that was also considered essential for use of any mantra. So here we're going to learn the Gopal Mantra, Rishyadi Nyasaha. So it says, Om Astarasakshara Mantrasya Sri Narada Rishihi Gayatri Chandaha Sakala Loka Mangalo Nandatanayo. Nandatanayo means the son of Nanda. Devata, right? That's the Devata, Lord Krishna, the son of Nanda. Klim Bijam, Swaha Shaktihi, of course, again, because of the difference, the non-difference of B and V in Bengali, and this coming probably from a text in Bengali letters, the B and V are sometimes wrongly put. So Klim Bijam, the seed is Klim, right? Swaha Shaktihi, Krishnaha, Prakritir, Durga Destatri, Devata, Abhimantrarte, meaning Yogaha. The purpose is that. So, Sri Narada is a superintending sage of the 18-syllable mantra. Gayatri is the meter in which it is to be chanted, the bestower of auspiciousness to the devotees. Sri Krishna is the objective, right? He's the Devata. Swaha is the energy. Krishna, Prakriti, and Durga are the controlling deities, and this mantra is to be chanted for the purpose of gaining power. Okay, so that's what it says. The next gives us an alternative. We have an alternative form of the mantra nyasa for the Gopal Mantra, which comes from the Samohan Tantra in a conversation between Lord Shiva and his wife Parvati, who's here called Uma, and that is given in texts 147 to 148. So here we have Narada is the superintending sage of this mantra. Gayatri is the meter. Krishna is the cowherd boy is the objective. Kama Bija is the seed, which is the same, clean. Swaha is the energy or the Shakti. You and Durga are the predominating deities, and the mantra is to be chanted to attain the four objectives of life. The four objectives of life normally are called what we call Purusharthas, or the aims of human beings are Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Right? So religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and finally liberation. Okay. So now we have the process of Anga Nyasa. We may have described about Anga Nyasa and Paranysa before. Anga Nyasa has to do with 6 limbs of the body. Usually we touch the head, we touch the sika, right? We touch the shoulders. We touch the eyes, either 2 or 3 eyes, and we make a. So what is that? So what is it? Oh, the heart, the head, the sika, the shoulders, the eyes, and we make a circumambulation around the head by snapping the fingers. Make that force field around, which is called Digbandaha, closing the different directions around us. Okay, so the nyasa consists of 4 limbs, having 4 letters each, as well as 2 more limbs called astra. It is thus recommended that the mantra should be divided into 4 parts. Okay, so the mantra we're talking about again is the Gopal Mantra. So we'll see how to do this practically. Continuing on, 150. Right, first one should perform the nyasa consisting of 5 parts. That's interesting because we have up here the discussion of 4 parts, and in the next part it says 5 parts. So there may be alternate ways to do these particular nyasas. There's a 4-part and a 5-part way of doing it. So you either divide up the Gopal Mantra into 4 parts or 5 parts. So one should first perform the nyasa consisting of 5 parts within one's palms, the outside of the palms of both sides, and then on each of the fingers, right? So normally this type of nyasa on the hands and the fingers, this isn't called Anga Nyasa, but it's called Paranysa. The word Kara means the hand. So it means hands and fingers, whereas the Anga Nyasa normally means Sarangana Nyasa is normally done on the 6 parts of the upper body, whereas the other Paranyasa is done on the hands, right? The fingers and the back and front of the hands. So some of the authorities have recommended that one should vibrate Om while performing the nyasa. So this seems to indicate that you can add Om to the Bij mantras or to the sections of the Gopal Mantra that you're using in these different mantras, in these different nyasas. Others have advised that one should perform the Vana Panchika Nyasa and the Ananga Panchika Nyasa, right, along with the Anga Nyasa performed on the fingers. Okay, let's just continue on a little bit more with this, and once we get to a different topic, we'll go back and we'll look at exactly how to do all of these things. Text 151, right? The Panchavanas are Dravana, Shobhana, Akarshana, Vasikarna. Vasikarna usually means to control people, like by hypnotize people, and Shravana. And the Panch Anangas are Shoshana, Mohana, Sandipana, Tapana, and Madana. Okay, so this will be explained maybe in the Prayoga. So then text 152, it says, while employing the Panchanganyasa, one should add Namaha and Hridaya to the in the fourth dative case to the first part, Swaha and Shiraha in the second part, Vashat in Shika to the third part, Hum and Kavacha to the fourth part, Astra and Pata to the fifth part. For example, here's an example of that. Okay, so we have Klim Krishnaya Hridayaya Namaha. So Hridayaya and Namaha go together, right? Govindaya Shirase Swaha. So Shirase and Swaha go together. Gopijana Shikaya Vashate. So Shikaya and Vashate go together. Valabhaya Kavachaya Hum, right? So Kavachaya and Hum go together. And Swaha Astraya Pate, right? So Astraya and Pate go together. So this is very common, right? So this is for all Anganyasas. This is the rule that that normal. Although sometimes we do see some people who just don't use these ending words. These ending words like Hridaya, Hridaya, Swaha, Vasat, Hum, Vaushat, and Pat. They don't use those sometimes, right? And also sometimes it's not 5, but it's 6. Normally and generally we have 6 places, and here it's a Panchanganyasa rather than a Saranganyasa. The normal thing is a Saranganyasa, which includes this Vausate. So we have, but here we don't have that. So we have five places. So anyway, we'll see how it's done practically in a minute. 153, 154, continuing on, it says, therefore one should perform the nyas consisting of the 5 parts of one's thumb, first finger, middle finger, ring finger, and little finger in that order. So we're talking about not 5 parts of the thumb, but actually the 5 fingers. The thumb, the first finger, meaning the index finger, the middle finger, the ring finger, which is called the Pavitra finger or the Anamika finger, right? So we have Angusta, Tarjini, Madhyama, Anamika, Kanistika, right? Kanistika, the little finger, in that order. So that's the order. Once again, one should perform the nyasa consisting of the 5 parts on the fingers and the heart. And the example given here, right? All the examples come from the commentary by Sanatana Goswami, the Digdarshini Tika. Klim Krishnaya Angustabhyam Namaha. That's on the thumbs. Govindaya Tarjinibhyam Swaha. Gopijana Madhyamabhyam Namaha. Balabhaya Namikabhyam Hum. Swaha Astraya Kanistigabhyam Pate. Right. So for example, Klim Krishnaya Hridaya Namaha Angustabhyam Namaha. Govindaya Shirase Swaha Tarjinibhyam Swaha. So also these types of nyasas seem to be also mixed also. Not only do we do them separately, the Anga Nyasa and the Paranyasa, but it seems also that we mix them. All right. So some authorities also perform the Sarangana Nyasa. This is what I said before, that the Sarangana Nyasa, see, Pancha means 5 and Sad means 6. So sometimes this is divided up into 6. When it's divided up, when the Nyasa is done, when we divide things up into 6, or the mantra up into 6, which is more normal, while chanting this mantra. These 6 limbs are the chest, head, so the heart, the head, the shika, the kavacha, the 2 shoulders, the eyes, either 2 or 3, right, depending on the deity, and the 4 directions, the different directions. For astra and kavacha, one should perform the nyasa on all the limbs of the body. Okay. So text 156. In the Sanat Kumara Kalpa, within the Sammohan Tantra, the 6 limbs are described as follows. So he's just described the Sarangana Nyasa, so he wants to explain again what the 6 limbs are that are being touched with this nyasa. The heart with 1 letter, the head with 3 letters, the shika with 4 letters, the kavacha with 4 letters. When it says letters here, it means syllables. So we can say the head with 1 syllable, the heart with 3 syllables, the shika with 4 syllables, the kavacha with 4 syllables, the eyes with 4 syllables, and the astra, or the weapon, with 2 syllables. And so how does that add up? So we have 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 4 is 8, plus 4 is plus another 4 is 12, plus another 4 is 16, plus another 2 is 18. So then we have 18 syllables, right? Remember, because the mantra has got 18 syllables. So these is how the syllables are to be broken up on the different parts of the body. If it's broken up in 6, right? These 6, the heart, the head, the shika, the shoulders, the eyes, and the directions. Yeah? So those are the 6 places in a Sarangana Nyasa. So text 157, one should then fold his hands and perform the nyasa of the 18-syllable mantra 3 times around the entire body, from the legs up to the head. Okay, so now it says, it goes on to talk about Akshay Nyasa. Okay, so why don't we, before we go on to the Akshay Nyasa, because Akshay Nyasa has to do with the aksharas, or the syllables of the Gopal Mantra, let's first of all go over the procedure for the Pitanyasa and these other, the Pitanyasa and the Mantra Nyasa for Gopal Mantra, and the different Saranga and Panchanga and Paranyasas for the Gopal Mantra. Okay, so let's have a look at that. Okay, so as we just went over, the Pitanyasa is described in Hari Bhakti Vilasa, 5th Vilasa, texts 133 to 145. Within one's body, starting from the Muladhara Chakra. Now remember, the Muladhara Chakra is at the base of the spine, and we talked about it before when we were talking about the internal Matrika Nyasa. The internal Matrika Nyasa. The Muladhara up to the heart chakra, right? And alternatively, just within one's heart, right? So we could either do this using the whole body as a pitam, or we could do it just as using the heart as a pitam, right? Pitam, remember, means the simhasana, or the throne on which the deity is, the deity being the deity in the heart, right? So first of all, we're going to perform this mental worship of the Lord within the heart. So we're installing the Lord's different energies within our body in order to make a place for him to come and accept worship within us. First of all, worship within, then worship without. So we should chant, meditating, beginning with the Muladhara Chakra up to the heart, or just within the heart. We should chant the following: Om Adara Shaktaye Namaha, Om Prakrityaya Namaha, or it could be Om Mula Prakrityaya Namaha, right? Om Kamataya Namaha, or it could be Om Kurmaya Namaha. The alternate readings are given here in the brackets. Om Anantaya Namaha, or Om Sheshaya Namaha. Om Pratibhyaya Namaha, or Om Kshamaya Namaha, right? Om Kshira Sindave Namaha, or Kshira Samudraya Namaha, right? Om Prakasha Swabhava Svetadvipaya Namaha, right? Or it could just be Om Svetadvipaya Namaha. Om Shri Yukta, or Shri Ratna, or Ratnojvala Mahita Maha Mandapaya Namaha, for the jeweled mandapa, right? And Om Kalpa Vrikshaya Namaha, for the Kadamba tree in Vrindavan, or the desire tree in Vaikuntha, the Sweatadweep. Devotees of Krishna can alternatively meditate on the milk ocean as Mathura, Sweatadweep as Vrindavan. So the ocean of milk, when we chant this mantra, the ocean of milk can be conceived of as an ocean of milk. If we're worshipping a Vishnu form, or if we're worshipping Krishna, we can conceive of the ocean of milk when we say here Shira Sindave or Shira Samudraya, which means ocean of milk. We can be thinking of Mathura, Sweatadweep, which is the white island. Dweepa means island, Sweta means white. So the island is white because the ocean of milk laps up on the shores of the ocean and colors it white, apparently. So when we think about the Sweatadweep, when we say Om Prakasha Swabhava Sweatadweepaya Namaha, or we just say Om Sweatadweepaya Namaha, we can think of Sweatadweep as being Vrindavan, which is within Mathura. So we have Mathura and we have Vrindavan within Mathura, right? And the jeweled mandap, which is in the middle of Vrindavan, right? When we say the next one, the eighth mantra here, Om Ratna Mandapaya Namaha, or it could be Om Shri or Shri Yukta Ratnojvala Mahita Maha Mandapaya Namaha. It can be any of these. Different. These are given in the Tika, in the commentary, and some different editions of Hari Bhakti Vilas probably have these. I'm not sure if we look at Hari Bhakti Vilas, but they have these. The reason I put them there is because I found them in different editions. Let's say, or it's mentioned. It may be mentioned in the Tika. Okay, so then we think of the jeweled mandapa as the groves of Vrindavan, right? So we don't even have to think of a jeweled mandapa. We just think about the groves of Vrindavan, the bushes of Vrindavan, and then Kalpavriksha as the Kadamba tree. Okay, under which Krishna or Radha Krishna are being worshipped. Now, optionally, we can chant that and meditate upon Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text 56, which I chanted before, and we know the translation of that, right, which we discussed before, right, and touch the following places with fingers of the right hand and install these deities. Touch the following places on the body with the fingers of the right hand. Fingers of the right hand can be all five, including the thumb, or it can just be in the four fingers. Just touch like that. So if it's difficult to touch a place with the right hand, you can touch with the left hand. But normally we just touch with the left hand, the right hand. Om Dharmaya Namaha, right shoulder. Om Jnanaya Namaha, left shoulder. Om Vairagyaya Namaha, right arm. Om Aishwaryaya Namaha, left arm. Om Adharmaya Namaha, mouth or face, right? We don't have to touch, we can just go near. Om Agyanaya Namaha, waist. Om in the front, and then Om Avairagyaya Namaha on the right side, and Om Anaishwaryaya Namaha on the left side, right? So these are eight places that we touch while chanting these mantras. Okay. Meditate on the petals of the respective chakras, right, within the body, starting from the east and going east or front and going clockwise. Okay, so normally when if we take a lotus as being two-dimensional and we see the different petals coming out, start with the one at the top, right, which is considered the east, right, and then go clockwise, pradakshina around on each petal, which we discussed before about with Antamadrika Nyasa. So when we are doing the internal Madrika Nyasa, previously described in the last couple of sessions, right? Then we do the same thing. So the same as when we did in the Antamadrika Nyasa, we're also meditating upon the lotus of the heart, or it could be the different lotuses of the different chakras, or just in the heart, right? So so this whole thing can be done on all the chakras, in the body, or it can just be done in the heart chakra. Okay, so, and install the following deities on them, on the different petals. And remember, we had 8 petals, yeah? So let's see if we get 8 deities, or if there's more. If there's more, then we just keep going around again, or we go to another chakra. So, but anyway, if we're starting at the Muladhara, then we work up. Om Am Tapinyadi Dwadasa Kalatmani Namaha, Surya Mandalaya Namaha, on the heart chakra, right? Om Amtadadi Sodasha Kalatmani Soma Mandalaya Namaha, in the throat chakra. Om Mam Dhumradi Dasa Kalatmani Vani Mandalaya Namaha, on the navel chakra. Om Sham Shatvaya Namaha, on the heart. Om Ram Rajase Namaha, on the heart. Om Tam Tamase Namaha, on the heart. Okay, so we have these. First of all, we have these Surya Mandala, Soma Mandala, and Vani Mandala. Surya means the sun, Soma means the moon, Vani means fire. These are the 3 sources of energy in this world. And then we have the 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. And now we're going to talk about the 3 gunas are the 3 coils of the Kundalini serpent within the body. So the idea is that there's energy within the body, and that energy is in the form of a snake-like form, and it makes, when a snake lies down, it sometimes curls up. So this particular snake, the Kundalini serpent, is coiled 3 times for Sattva, Raja, and Tama Guna, right? The modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Om Am Anta Om Am Atmane Namaha. Om Am Atmane Namaha, touch the heart. Om Am Antaratmane Namaha, touch the heart. Om Pam Paramatmane Namaha, touch the heart. Om Hreem Jnanatmane Namaha, touch the heart. Meditate on the 8-petal lotus under the on an 8-petal lotus underneath a kalpa vriksha or kadamba tree in the heart, and install, starting from the eastern petal, right, and going clockwise, right, the following lady attendants waving chamaras, right, with Radha Krishna in the middle. You can think of them as the 8 gopis, right, or there might be 9 actually, but anyway, you can think of them as gopis, right, surrounding Krishna or Radha Krishna, and waving chamaras, right. So starting from the first petal, Om Vimalyaye Namaha, Om Utkarshinye Namaha, Om Jnanaye Namaha, Om Kriyaye Namaha, Om Yogaye Namaha, Om Prahvaye Namaha, Om Satyaye Namaha, Om Ishanyaye Namaha, Om Madhye Anugrahaye Namaha. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. So these are equivalent to the 9, what we call Chamaradarini. Chamaradarini means that there are ladies who are carrying chamaras and serving the Lord, right? And there are 9 of them. So 8 on each one of the petals, and then 1 is just in the middle, is a little bit closest, say, or just in a slightly different place from the petal. She's in the middle. Then we chant the Pita Mantra. So this was the Pitanyasa. What we just went through there is called Pitanyasa. Right now, we're going to chant the Pita Mantra. Remember, this mantra was supposed to be obligatory. We have to chant this mantra before it's required for deity worship according to Hari Bhakti Vilasa 5.145. And so now the first thing is we did the Pitanyasa. Pitanyasa was from 133 to 145. So in 145 itself, we have this last item for the Pitanyasa, and that is to chant the Pita Mantra. The Pita Mantra again is Om Namo Bhagavate Vishnave Sarvabhutatmane Vasudevaya Sarvatma. In the edition that we saw, the translator put Sarvatmane again, but it's not. It's Sarvatma Samyoga Padma Pitatmane Namaha. Okay. So continuing on to the next topic. The next topic is after the Pitanyasa. The next thing is to start the chanting. Before we use the Gopal Mantra, we have to do the mantra Nyasa for the Gopal Mantra and different Nyasas for the Gopal Mantra. Without the Nyasas for the Gopal Mantra, without the Dhyana of Krishna, without the meditation like that, the use of the Gopal Mantra won't be as effective. And we should actually do it. We should actually do these things. It's obligatory. So the Rishadi Smaranam, remembering the Rishi, the meter, the sage, the meter, the purpose, etc. of the mantra is very important. So this is called Rishadi Smaranam Angadhyasa. And it comes in Hari Bhakti Vilas, 5th Vilas, 146 to 157, which we've been over. So here it is, made into a prayoga. Om Astadakshakshara Mantrasya. This means Om, this is the 18th syllable mantra. Sri Narada Rishihi. Sri Narada Muni is the Rishi. He is the seer of this mantra. And with this, we take the four fingers of the right hand and we touch the head, right? Or we can touch just near the head. Om. So then we have Devi Gayatri Chandaha. So either Gayatri Chandaha or Devi Gayatri Chandaha, touch the tip of the nose or just in front of the tip of the nose with the four fingers of the right hand. Typical mantra nyasa that we did before, but now we're doing it with the Gopal Mantra. Sakala Loko, Mangalo, Nandatanayo, Devata, touch the heart, the four fingers of the right hand. Brim Bijam, touch the right side of the chest with the tips of the four fingers of the right hand. Swaha Shaktihi, touch the left side of the chest with the tips of the four fingers of the right hand. Krishnaha Prakritiya, right? Touch the navel with the four tips of the four fingers of the right hand. Then we have Durgadishtatri Devata Abhimantrate Viniyogaha, and touching the upturned palms together, right? Fold them towards the chest either once or 3 times. Right, so what does this mean? It means Sri Narada is the superintending deity of the 18-syllable mantra. Gayatri is the meter. Sri Krishna, the bestower of auspiciousness, is on the whole universe, is the objective, right, or the devata. Hrim is the seed or the bijam, right? Swaha is the energy or shaktihi, right? Pleasing the predominating deity of Krishna's material energy, Durga, is the purpose, right? And that is the translation to Hari Bhakti Vilas 5:146. Now, normally we see that any mantra has only one mantra nyasa, but here the Gopal Mantra, the 18-syllable Gopal Mantra, has an alternate mantra nyasa, which is given in Sammohan Tantra. Remember that discussion between Shiva and Uma, or another name for Parvati, right? Mostly Tantras and Agamas, very many times you find the Agamas are spoken by Shiva to Parvati. Parvati's asking questions and Lord Shiva's explaining. Because Lord Shiva is a great Vaishnava, so he knows all these things about the different tantras. So now continuing on. So the alternate nyasa for Gopal Mantra, so it means you don't have to do both. If you were doing this, if you were making a procedure, you would you could do one or the other, and you don't have to do both. So here's the alternate. The alternate is Om Astadasakshara Mantrasya Sri Narada Rishihi, touch the head, right? Same thing. That's the same. Devi Gayatri Chandaha, touch the nose or touch near the nose. Now we get a little bit different, right? Although Krishna is that, instead of saying Nanda Taniyo, we say Gopa Vesha Dhara. Gopa Vesha Dhara, the Krishna who's got the gopis' clothes. Remember when baby Krishna got up into a tree when the gopis were bathing naked in the Yamuna, and he stole their clothes. So Gopa Vesha Dhara Krishna Devata, right? So we meditate upon that lila and touch the heart, right? So Manmata means Cupid, right? The god of love, right? Kamadev, right? Manmata Sangyam Kleem Bijam. Touch the right side of the chest with the four fingers of the right hand. Then I have Priya Shaktihi. Now it says Priya Shaktihi. What do we mean by Priya? So I put here Radha. Okay, so it could also be Priya Radha Shaktihi. Touch the left side of the chest. Right? Radha is the Shakti of Krishna. The Krishna Shakti is Radha, right? So although Radha is not specifically mentioned here in Hari Bhakti Vilas, but when it says Priya, it's a name of Radha and it means Radha. So I put Radha there. So you can also say Radha. It's possible. It's just to identify her. If by Priya you don't that doesn't ring a bell for you as Radha, then you can also say Radha. Priya Radha Shakti. So touch the left side of the chest with the forefingers, the right hand, and then Parameshani Asyadistatri Devata. Touch the navel with the forefingers, the right hand, and then we have Chatuvarga Phala Vyaptyai Vidyogaha, turning the palms together, placing the palms, touching the palms together, and then folding them towards the chest either once or three times for the Vidyogaha, right? The meaning. This explains the meaning. So what's the meaning of this? This comes in Hari Bhakti Vilas, fifth to last text 147 to 148. We just went over. Narada is the superintending sage of the mantra. Gayatri is the meter. Krishna, the cowherd boy, is the objective. Kama, bija is the seed or the bijam, right? Kama bija, clean, is the bijam. Priya, Radha, is the energy, right? Is the Shakti, right? Pleasing the predominating deity of Krishna's material energy, Durga, in order to achieve the four goals of human life is the purpose. Okay, that's the purpose. All right, so now we've done the mantra nyasa. Now we're going to do the Paranysa and the Anga Nyasa. So it's all described here as Anga Nyasa, but it includes the Paranyasa. It's got to do with the 5 or 6 different parts of the upper body, but it also has to do with the 5 fingers and the front and back of the palms. So the Panchavanas, when we're dividing this up into 5, the Panchavanas, 5 sounds. The 5 sounds are distilling, agitating, attracting, subjugating, and shedding. The 5 angas, the 5 anangas, things without, ananga means without body, right? Without limbs, are drying, bewildering, arousing, heating, and exhilarating. Okay? So this is a translation of Hari Bhakti Vilas 5.151. So here's the actual nyasa. Vana Panchaka Nyasa and Anga Panchaka Nyasa and Paranysa, according to Hari Bhakti Vilas 5.150 to 151. The second Vyapaka Nyasa, also, Vyapaka Nyasas are usually done on the whole body, right? Vyapaka means all pervasive, so it means the whole body, right? So Vyapaka, the second Vyapaka Nyasa, also could mean taking both hands and running and all 5 fingers and running them downwards from the head to the toe with each of the following 5 or 6 mantras, right? Depending on whether you divide things up into 5 or into 6 parts, the Gopal Mantra into 5 or into 6, which we'll see in a minute. Okay, so this is very common, and even Sri Vaishnavas, they do this Vyapaka Nyasa, where they're from head to toe, they're meditating on covering the whole body with these different parts of the mantra. So this Vyapaka mantra, Vyapaka Nyasa, would be just to do like this, and we can add Omkara to each one of these mantras. So we're dividing up the Gopal Mantra. What is the Gopal Mantra again? 18-syllable mantra. Klim, Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopijana, Vallabhaya, Swaha. So it can be divided up into 5 parts if we keep Klim with Krishnaya. So Om Klim Krishnaya, first part. Om Govindaya, second part. Om Gopijana, third part. Om Vallabhaya, fourth part. And Om Swaha, fifth part, right? So that is if we keep the Klim as attached to the Krishna. So Om Klim Krishnaya, Om Govindaya, Om Gopijana, Om Gopijanaya, Om Gopijana, Om Vallabhaya, Om Swaha. That's that type of Vyapaka Nyasa, 5 sections Vyapaka Nyasa. So if we do the Vyapaka Nyasa with 6 divisions, that means we separate Klim and Krishnaya, the 2 words. So we have then 6 words: Klim, Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopijana, Vallabhaya, and Swaha. Okay, so Om, and I'm not sure whether we have to do both or we can just choose an alternate. We can do the 5. We can split it up into 5, or we can split it up into 6. But in any case, the normal situation, as I said, with all these Saranganyasas and even with the Paranyasas, this normal thing is split up into 6. The mantra is split up into 6. But here, they split it into 5 for some reason, for some other reason sometimes. Okay, so if we're doing the Saranganyasa or Paranyasas above, do this. We use Om Klim as the first, Om Krishnaya as the second, Om Govindaya as the third, Om Gopijana as the fourth, Om Balabhaya as the fifth, and Om Swaha as the sixth. Yeah? So now, if we know how to do this, it's not specifically written out here, but let's say we do the Anga Nyasa and the Paranyasa, right? So we would do Om Kliyam Viraya Namaha, Om Krishnaya Sirse Swaha, Om Govindaya Shikaya Vasate, Om Gopijana Kavachaya Hom, Om Balabhaya Nitrabhi Bosate, Om Swaha Astraya Vate. That's how they would do the Saranganyasa. To do the Paranyasa, we would do Om Klim Angastari Maha, Om Krishnaya Tajni Maha, Om Govindaya Majibabhi Maha, Om Gopijana Anamikabhi Maha, Om Balabhaya Knistikabhi Maha, and Swaha Katarakistabhi Maha. Front and back of the hands after touching the different fingers. Okay, so that's not specifically written out here. If somebody wants it written out for them, otherwise, I didn't write it out because most people know how to do those things. And I think here for the Anganyasa of 5, what we're missing is the because we had the Hriyaya Namaha, we had the Sirse Swaha, we had the Sikaya Vasate, we had the Kavachaya Hum, we had the Netrabhyam or Netra Trayaya, meaning 2 or 3 eyes, Voshate with 2 eyes, both to Krishna, Netrabhyam, Voshate, and then we had the Swaha Skripate, so we had that's 6. So one of them is missing, but in the 5 Nyasa breakdown. Okay. So now let's see how this particular Nyasa, which is called Vana Panchika, because remember we first learned we had this sloka here, number 151, which tells us the names of these 5 Vanas and then 5 Anangas, right? So we have to use those. We have to use those mantras in those words in the Nyasa. So this is how we combine. This is how we combine the Gopal Mantra syllables and words with the particular 5 Vanas and 5 Anandas. Okay, so Om Klim Krishnaya, Klim Ram, Dravana Vanaya, Klim Shoshanandaya, and we touch the palms of both hands. Touch the palms of both hands. Om Klim Govindaya Hrim Shrom, Shobhana Vanaya Namaha, Hrim Mohana Madanaya Namaha. Touch the palms of both hands. Right? So when we touch the palms of both hands, we just do that. So then Om Hrim Gopi Janaya, Hrim Am, Akarshanavanaya, Klim Sandipana Madana Aturaya, and touch the right side of the body with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Hrim Balabhaya Hrim Vam Vasikarna Vanaya Hrim Tapana Ratyanandhaya Namaha. Touch the left side with the 4 fingers of the right hand. And then finally, Om Hrim Swaha Hrim Shram Shravana Vanaya Namaha. Hrim Madana Makaradvajaya Namaha. Touch the thumb and all the fingers, right? As in Paranyasa. Touch the thumb with all the fingers, as in Paranyasa. The thumb to all the fingers. So we do this. Right? Alternatively, the Anga Nyasa. So this was the Paranyasa which came first. but it involved also part of Anga Nyasa. So we first of all touch the palms, then touch the right, the left, the right and left sides of the body, and then touching the thumb to all the fingers, right? So touch the fingers to the thumb, thumb to all the fingers. And then alternatively, we have an Anga Nyasa, and here's what the Anga Nyasa would look like. Again, using the 5 Varnas and the 5 Anangas. Om Klim Krishnaya Klim Ram Dravana Vanaya Klim Soshananangaya Namaha. Touch the heart. This would be more like a traditional Sarangana Nyasa. Om Klim Govindaya Rim Shrom Shobhanavanaya Namaha. Rim Mohanamadhanaya Namaha. Up to the top of the head with the 4 fingers to the right hand. Om Hrim Gopi Janaya Hrim Am Akarsanavanaya Klim Sandipana Madanaturaya Namaha. Touch the shika with the 4 fingers to the right hand. Om Hrim Malabhaya Hrim Vam Vasikarana Vanaya Hrim Tapana Ratnyanangaya Namaha. Cross the hands in front of the chest, touching the opposite shoulders, right? With the 4 fingers of each hand, right? Om Hrim Swaha, Hrim Shram Shravana Vanaya Namaha, Hrim Mandana Makaradvajaya Namaha. Slap the left palm with the index and the middle finger of the right hand 3 times, and snap the fingers of the right hand repeatedly while encircling the head clockwise. Yes? Okay, so now we're going to talk about, that's a particular type of nyasa. That's the Anga Nyasa. And now the Paranyasa is as follows on the hands. Om Klim Krishnaya Ram Dravanavanaya Klim Soshananandaya Namaha. Slide the index fingers from the base of the tips to the tips of the thumb. So like this, right? Om Klim Govindaya Hrim Shrom Shobhana Vanaya Namaha Hrim Mohanamadhanaya Namaha. Slide the thumbs, tip of the thumb, from the base of to the tips of the index finger like this. Yes. Then this is typical Paranyasa. Okay, so Om Hrim Gopi Janaya Hrim Am Akarsanavanaya Klim Sandipana Madana Naturaya Namaha. Slide the thumbs from the base of the tips of the middle fingers to the base to the tips of the middle fingers. Yeah. Om Hrim Valabhaya Hrim Vam Vashikarna Vanaya Hrim Tapana Ratnyanangaya Namaha. Slide the thumbs from the base of to the tips of the ring fingers, right? Om Hrim Swaha Hrim Shram Shravana Vanaya Namaha Hrim Madana Makaradvajaya Namaha. Slide the thumbs from the tips, from the base to the tips of the little fingers. Yes? Okay, so that's the Paranyasa. Continuing on, we have in Hari Bhakti Vilas 152 to 154, which I believe we went over, right? We have what's called Pancha, Anga, Nyasaha. So five limbs of the body. And we're going to use the Gopal Mantra for this. So this is the next Nyasa that has to be done. So Om Klim Krishnaya. Remember now this is dividing up into 5 using 5 parts of the Gopal Mantra. So the 5 parts of the Gopal Mantra, remember we keep the Klim and the Krishnaya together. When we divide Gopal Mantra into 6 parts, we separate Klim from Krishnaya. So here we have Om Klim Krishnaya Hridayaya Namaha, touch the heart. Right? Om Govindaya Shirase Swaha, touch the top of the head. Om Gopijana Shikaya Vasate, touch the shika. Om Balabhaya Kavachaya Hum, touch do the Kavacha Mudra, right? Touch the shoulders, right? Or that could also be, you can also do it like this by touching the right shoulder, then touching the left shoulder with the right hand, but most commonly it's done with both hands. Om Swaha Straya Pate, slap the left palm with the index and middle fingers of the right hand 3 times and snap the fingers clockwise around the head. Okay, so that is the Pancha Anga Nyasaha. and Pancha Karanyasaha, which would be with the fingers again, right? Om Klim Krishnaya Angustabhi Namaha. Om Govindaya Tajnimiam Swaha. Om Madhyama Gopijana Madhyamabhyam Vashate. Sorry, Om Govindaya Tajnimiam Swaha. Om Gopijana Madhyamabhyam Vashate. Right? Om Balabhaya Namikabhyam Hum. Om Swaha Kanistikabhyam Pate. Or and that's the Paranyasaha. Right? So that is the Pancha, and because it's Pancha, we leave out the front and back of the hands, but we did the front and the back of the hands in another nyasa, so that's not a problem. The Vyapaka nyasa, right? So now again, one has to perform the Paranyasa with both Anga and Paranyasa mantras. So again, because we're going to be touching the deity with our hands, this is for purifying the body and purifying the hands. The hands are going to be actually touching the deity when we do deity worship. So we want to specially purify the hands. And for doing that, we're going to use the mantras that we use we're going to then do the Pancha Anga Paranyasaha, which includes the mantras for the Anganyas and the mantras for the Karanyas, and it's also performed on the hands. Right. So this comes in, it's described in Hari Bhakti Vilas 5.154. So now we do Om Klim Krishnaya Hridayaya Namaha Angustabhyam Namaha. And it's just like a typical Karanyas, right? The way we do it. But instead we add these mantras which are also from the Anganyas. Right? Again, this is dividing the Gopal Mantra in 5. Whenever we see Panchanga, it means 5. And when we see Saranga, it means 6. Right? So Om Klim Krishnaya Hridaya Namaha Angustabhi Namaha. Right? Angustabhi Namaha. Om Govindaya Shirse Swaha Tajnibhyam Swaha. Om Gopi Jana Shikaya Vasate Madhyamabhyam Vasate. Om Balabhaya Kavachaya Hum Anamikabhyam Hum. Right? And Om Swaha Astraya Pate Kanistikabhyam Pate. Right? And that is the Pancha Anga. Pancha Anga Karanyasa. So now we did the Pancha Anga Nyasa, we did the Pancha Karanyasa, and we did the combined Pancha Anga Karanyasa. Okay. Now, alternatively, that's if you're dividing up the Gopal Mantra into 5 sections. What are the 5 sections again? 5 sections are Klim Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopijana, Vallabhaya, and Swaha. But now we're going to do the same sort of thing, but we're going to do it in an alternative way, dividing it up into 6. And as I said, normally people choose to divide it up into 6, but if you want to do it according to 5, it's also mentioned in Hari Bhakti Vilas. It's first mentioned in Hari Bhakti Vilas to divide it into 5. Then it said you can do also alternatively divide it into 6. So the 6 sections would be separating the Klim from Krishnaya. So we would have Klim, Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopijana, Vallabhaya, and Swaha. 6. That would be the 6 things. So now we're going to do the Anganyasa, the top of the limbs of the body, the upper limbs of the body, right? In 6 places instead of previously we did only 5. So now we're going to do 6 places. This is an alternate given in an alternate method given in Hari Bhakti Vilas, text 155 of the 5th chapter. So chanting Om Klim Hridaya Namaha, touch the heart. Om Krishnaya Sirse Swaha. Om Govindaya Shikaya Vasate. Om Gopijana Kavachaya Hum. Om Balabhaya Netra Trayaya. Now this is interesting because it involves 3. It specifically says here 3 eyes. Meditate on 3 eyes, right? The 2 eyelids and the center of the forehead. Normally Krishna isn't considered to be an ugra deity or an angry deity, right? He's considered to be a lovable deity and not an angry deity like Lord Narasimha or like Durga or like Shiva when he's destroying the world. So normally these angry deities or ugra deities are seen with 3 eyes. Okay, so but here we see it's interesting because they put Netra Trayaya, which means 3 eyes. like that. So is there an Ugra deity of Krishna? Is there an Ugra form of Krishna? Yes, there is an Ugra form of Krishna. At the end of Pralaya, when the Lord appears in the causal ocean on a banyan leaf as a baby. Baby Krishna appears on a banyan leaf, sucking his toe, like that. That lovable Krishna baby on the banyan leaf at the time of devastation is considered to be an Ugra deity because of the devastation that happens at the same time, right? And everything enters into his stomach. So there is a type of Krishna deity that is considered Ugra, but in any case, it's not that we're considering Krishna an Ugra deity here, but somehow or other in Hari Bhakti Vilasa it does mention to use Netratraya, and so therefore I put it there and not Netrabhyam, which would normally be used for two eyes. Okay, so then the sixth thing is Swaha Astraya Pate. Again, we're slapping the hand 3 times and flicking around snapping the fingers around the head clockwise. Om Swaha Astraya Pate. Right, so that is the Anga Nyasa. So just to go through it very quickly again, right? Because this is probably the one that people would more likely do, which is the dividing it up into 6. So Klim Hridaya Namaha, Krishnaya Sirus Om, Krishnaya Sirus Swaha, Om Govindaya Sukaya Vasate, Om Gopijana Kavachaya Hum, Om Balabhaya Nitra Trayaya Voshate, Om Swaha Astraya Pati. And now we come to the Karanyasa version. So that was the Anga Nyasa version, the version on the limbs of the body, and then secondly we're going to have on the hands, on the fingers in the hands. So we have Om Klim Angustabhyam Namaha, Om Krishnaya Tajinibhyam Swaha, Om Govindaya Madhyamabhyam Vasate, Om Gopijana Anamikabhyam Hum, and Om Vallabhaya Kinistikabhyam Voshate. And then a new thing, because we haven't had 6 before, Om Swaha Kartara Kalapistabhyam, where it says here, slap the left palm with the Kartala Kalapistabhyam, means the front and back of the hands, and then slap the index and middle fingers on the right hand palm, and then flick around the forehead, flick the fingers, snap the fingers around the forehead clockwise. Again, one must perform Paranyasa and both Anga Nyasa mantras, right? So again, one has to perform the Paranyasa and Anga Nyasa and Paranyasa mantras. So we have to do the Paranyasa twice. In both cases, when we divide up the Gopal Mantra into 5 parts, we do the Anga Nyasa, then we do the Paranyasa, then we do the Paranyasa, the one on the hands. We do it again with the mantras of the Anga Nyasa attached to it. So here, because we've divided up into 6, we've done the Anga Nyasa, we've done the Paranyasa. Now we again have to do the Paranyasa again with both the mantras for the Anga Nyasa and the Paranyasa attached. So here it is combined, the combined Saranga Paranyasa. This is according to Hari Bhakti Vilasa 5.154. So Om Klim Hridayaya Namaha Angustabhyam Namaha. Right? And the movements are the same for the Paranyasa. But anyway, these are the mantras. Om as for any Paranyasa. So Om Krishnaya Sirse Swaha Tajnimyam Swaha. Om Govindaya Shikaya Vasate Madhyamabhyam Vasate. Om Gopi Jana Kavachaya Hum Anamikabhyam Hum. Om Vit Valabhaya Netra Trayaya Voshate Kanistikabhyam Voshate. And Om Swaha Astraya Pate Kaltara Kalapistabhyam Pate. Right. Okay. So those are those mantras. Right now, alternatively, from the Sammohan Tantra. Now, I would suggest if one is doing the first mantra nyasa, which is coming from the Kramadipika, then one should follow that and do those nyasas. If one is following the mantra nyasa from the Sammohan Tantra, then one has to do it in this way, right? Slightly different way. Actually, this is the same as above, but counted by syllables, included for completeness. It need not be performed twice. Once as above is enough. Okay, so here we go. Chanting. This is according to Sammohan Tantra, right? And it comes from Hari Bhakti Vilas, again, 5156. So, Om Klim Hridaya Namaha, touch the heart with the four fingers of the right hand. Om Krishnaya Sirsai Swaha, touch the top of the head with the right four fingers of the right hand. Om Govindaya Shikaya Vasate, touch the Shika with the four fingers of the right hand. Om Gopi Janaya, Kavachaya Hum, cross the hands in front of the chest, touching the opposite shoulders with the four fingers of each hand. Om Balabhaya Netra Trayaya, again, three eyes. Boshate, right? Touching the three eyes with the three middle fingers of the right hand. Right? Om Swaha Strayapate, again, slapping the left palm with the index and middle fingers of the right hand, and then three times, and then snapping the fingers, encircling the head clockwise. Now again, we have the Vyapaka Nyasa. Vyapaka Nyasa, right? Vyapaka Nyasa should be performed three times, and it's again, Vyapaka means also means taking both hands and all five fingers and running them down from head to toe on the side of the body, right? Covering the whole body, right? Follow with the following 5 or 6 mantras, right? Because if obviously, if you are dividing up, if you're doing all the nyasas, dividing everything up into 5, you do it according to 5. And if you're doing it all dividing up into 6, divide it up into 6. I would suggest 6 is easier and more complete and more general, but also 5 is also mentioned there. So Om Klim Krishnaya, Om Govindaya, Om Gopijana, Om Vallabhaya, Om Swaha. That is the way you do it with each mantra. If you divide it into 5. If you divide it into 6, Om Klim Krishnaya, Om Klim, Om Krishnaya, Om Govindaya, Om Gopijana, Om Vallabhaya, Om Swaha. Okay? So those are those nyasas. Now, let's go back to Hari Bhakti Vilas, the main slokas, and let's see where we're up to first before we go on to any Akshay Nyasa. Yeah, so now we come to Akshay Nyasa. Right, I stopped at the right place. Good. So now those nyasas are finished, right? Those are preliminary nyasas with the Gopal Mantra. Now what we're going to do is the process for performing the nyasa with each of the 18 syllables of the mantra. And this is also very common in other sampradayas, that the main mantra of the sampradaya, for instance, in the Sri Sampradaya, is Om Namo Narayanaya, and we divide that up into syllables. There are 8 syllables in that mantra. There are 18 syllables in the Gopal Mantra. So each and every syllable is going to be used in nyasa then. So before, what we did is we divided up the Gopal Mantra into 5 words, right? Klim Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopijana, Vallabhaya, Swaha, or 6 words, Klim, Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopijana, Vallabhaya, Swaha. So we divide up into 5 or 6, and we then did all those nyasas with the 5 or 6 parts of the Gopal Mantra. Now we're going to divide it up into 18 parts, right? Klim, Krish, Na, Ya, Go, Vin, Dai, Ya, Go, Pi, Jan, Na, Val, La, Bhai, Ya, Swaha. Right? So it's going to be 18 syllables which are going to be attached to these next nyasas. So this is called Akshara Nyasa. Akshara means syllable. It can mean letter, but in this case, it means syllable, right? Because normally when we see Sanskrit letters, we don't see them without a vowel. We see them as a syllable. A syllable means there's a consonant, but there's also a vowel attached to the consonant, right? So the process for performing the nyasa on each of the 18 syllables of the mantra, right? So this is text 5, 158, 159. So after completing the Anga Nyasa, one should perform the nyasa on each of the 18 syllables, on the teeth, forehead, between the eyebrows, on the ears, On the eyes, right? There's 2 ears, there's 2 eyes. On the nostrils, there's 2 nostrils. On the mouth, on the throat, on the chest, on the navel, on the hips, on the anus, on the knees, right? One should perform the nyasa with 1 syllable each, except on the ears, nostrils, and hips, where there should be 2 syllables each. So there's 2 ears, there's 2 nostrils, and there's 2 hips, right? There's the left and right hip, right? So in that case, you should use two syllables. Okay, so this is the explanation. And this probably comes from Kramadipika, but let's see. It doesn't say where this instruction is from. But anyway, let's continue on. Text 160 suggests saintly persons vibrate Om at the beginning of these syllables. Right, so those syllables that I just ran through, the 18 syllables, you have saintly persons say that you should start each before you chant that syllable, you should chant Om first. Om and then the syllable, and then Namaha at the end. So for instance, it's going to be Om Klim Namaha, right? Om Kam Namaha, Om Klim Namaha, Kam Namaha, like this. Some authorities recommend chanting Shri Bij. Shri Bij. Shri Bij is Shrim, Kama Bij is Klim, and Shakti Bij is Hrim or Hrim, right? So some authorities say you should use these other Bijas. And there are some other reasons also which people might have some specific purposes for chanting these other Bij mantras. The Shakti Bij or Hrim adds power to the mantra. Kama Bij is used normally in Krishna worship. The Shrim Bij represents Radha or Priya, or the Shakti of Krishna, or Lakshmi, and therefore that can also be added. So it's possible that one could prefix the mantra with Om or Om Shrim or Om Klim or Om Hrim, or it could be Om Shrim Klim, or it could be Om Shrim Hrim, or it could be Om Klim Hrim, any combination. Or it even could be Om Shrim Klim Hrim, and then the syllable of the mantra. Okay. And then perform nyasa in the manner of Shristi, Sthiti, and Samhara nyasas. Okay. So this has to be explained a little bit. Okay. There are different nyasas, and sometimes these nyasas are said to be for different types of people. For instance, sometimes they say that Samhara nyasa should be done by sannyasis, the Shristi nyasa should be done by brahmachari, by grihastas, and the Sthiti by brahmacharis, or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. We have to look it up. But in other cases, it says for particular, sometimes for people in particular ashrams, or otherwise, it might be done for a particular purpose. Like if we look further on in the 19th chapter in installation, we do Samhara Nyasa to destroy material elements in the body of the deity, and then Shristi, which means creation, to create transcendental elements in the deity's body. So Shristi means creation, Sthiti means maintenance, and Samhara means destruction. So there's a certain order that you do, that you touch the different parts of the body, which is called Shristi order. And there's a certain order which is called Samhara order, and there's another order which is called Sthiti order. Okay, so I'm not sure whether in the Prayoga I've particularly gone over that, but maybe I've explained that in the Prayoga part that I wrote. In any case, it's being mentioned here for the first time. Shristi, Sthiti, and Samhara Nyasas. While performing Shristi, okay, here it's going to give a very slight explanation of it. While performing the Shristi Nyasa, right, so which is the creation Nyasa, touch the head while performing maybe from head to toe, right, from head to toe. The Sthiti Nyasa, touch the chest. So it means from the chest up to the head, and then from the legs up to the chest, right? And while performing the Samhara Nyasa, touch the legs or go down to the feet and go up. So normally when we talked about the Vyapaka Nyasa, we were going from head to toe. So that would be a type of Shristi Nyasa, going from head to toe, right? Starting in the middle and going up, and then going from the bottom of the feet to the middle again. That is considered a Sthiti Nyasa. And then going from the legs up is considered to be a Samharanyasa, right? Okay. And the idea is that the head is created first and the feet is last. The head represents the feet, or the. Remember in the understanding about the chakras, the lower chakra of the body is the more gross element, Prithvi or earth, right? The Muladhara chakra represents earth, right? Lam Prithivyatmani, right? So it's there. So the Lam is the last thing created, right? The most gross thing is the last thing created. So that means the order of creation would start at the head and go down. That makes sense, right? So then the opposite of creation is destruction. So that would start with the most gross element, or the Muladhara, and go up, right? The Sthiti Nyasa is a little bit difficult to explain, but it basically means starting from the middle and going up, and then starting from the bottom and going back to the middle. So anyway, we'll see how it's being done here. So then it talks about Paranyasa, right? So we might as well go on here and talk about Paranyasa before we go, because it also has to do with it's another type of nyasa. So we'll check that out. So text 161 and 162, the Paranyasa. So after performing the nyasa on one's head while chanting Om, the devotee should perform the nyasa of 5 syllables of the 18-syllable mantra on the eyes, mouth, anus, and legs. Now remember, again, whenever we talk about legs, or we talk about anus, or even when we talk about the mouth, we don't touch the mouth, we don't touch the anus, we don't touch the legs. We just touch near it and we meditate upon touching it. So it's by bhava, it's by our meditation. So our thought. Then we should perform the nyasa of those 5 syllables throughout the entire body, around the entire body. So some authorities have recommended that one perform this by adding namaha at the end of each syllable. So for example, klim klim namaha, klim krishnaya namaha, gom govindaya namaha, gom gopijana vallabhaya namaha, swam swaha namaha. So those are some examples. Text 163. There are others who chant swaha at the end of each syllable, combining the former and the latter to form 3 separate mantras when they perform the nyasa on their anus, cheeks, and entire body, from the head to the legs, right? And the example given here is Klim Krishnaya Swaha, Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Swaha, Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Swaha, right? So combining the former and the latter to make 3 separate mantras. Text 164 says, in this procedure of nyasa, only those devotees who are attached to jnana, right? Jnana doesn't mean ordinary knowledge, but it means spiritual knowledge, right? Should touch the nyasa to areas such as the anus and the legs. For such devotees, it's all right to perform the nyasa of Aniruddha on the anus, but the pure devotees of Lord Vishnu first purify their bodies by performing the Buddha Shuddhi ritual, right? So we shouldn't, whenever it says legs, and even though we're just meditating upon touching the legs and the anus, right, the places below the waist, right, which are normally considered, we shouldn't touch those. We shouldn't even think about touching those, right? Still, because we purify the body by the process of Buddha Shuddhi, right? This is why Buddha Shuddhi is so important, because the Buddha Shuddhi ritual is the meditation that the whole body is pure and is made of pure elements. So even the legs and the anus are also considered pure by that process of Buddha Shuddhi. So the Buddha Shuddhi ritual, thus making the body spiritualized. After doing so, they have no hesitation to perform the nyasa of Aniruddha on the anus or the nyasa of Mukunda on the legs. Okay, so text 165 mentions that one should perform the nyasa of the predominating sage, the mita, the objective, right, which is the rishi, the chanda, and the viniyogaha, the bija, the seed, right, the energy, the shakti, the prakriti, right, the nature, right, the predominating deity of the 18-syllable mantra on one's head, face, chest, nipples, right, and twice again on the chest. For example, Astadasaksharam Sri Gopal Mantrasya Narada Rishaye Namaha Gayatre Chandase Namaha, Shakala Loka Mangala Shriman Nandatanayaya Devataye Namaha. Right, so there's some examples, right? So this comes to pretty much the end of the point about the nyasas. So let's go back and let's look, starting where we left off with the Akshay Nyasa, and we're going to see how to do those nyasas in a prayoga system. Okay. So here's the prayoga for the Akshay Nyasas, etc. So Akshay Nyasa, which we just went through, we just went through the verses for it, right? And remember that it's coming from chapter 5 of Hari Bhakti Vilasa, text 158 to 159. Okay, so it was a little cryptic the way it was given in the text, but this is how it's actually to be done. So starting with the Omkara, and then we can add the different Bij mantras. We can add different Bij mantras. The different Bij mantras that we might add are Shakti, the Shri Bij, which is Shrim, the Shakti Bij or Hrim, and the Kama Bij or Klim. So we could say either Om Klim Namaha, right? Taking the first syllable of the Astadakshara mantra. Remember, we're doing syllables here, and the syllables are going to be made into bija mantras by adding the Anuswara, which is the M with the dot on top, right? Or sometimes you see it underneath, but the pure nasal sound, right? Normally when we make a bija mantra, we add that pure nasal sound to the syllable. Okay, so we're going to take all the syllables of the Gopal Mantra and we're going to break them up and we're going to add the Anuswara to them. We're going to then add Namaha. We're going to say Om first and then we're going to say Namaha. The Shrim, Hrim, Klim is in brackets, and that is optional, right? So I'll say it through with without the optional and then with the optional. So without the optional mantra, the optional bija mantras, it would be Om Klim Namaha is the first one. Touch the teeth. Now remember, we're not actually touching the teeth; we're touching in front of by meditation, touch in front of the mouth. So Om Klim Namaha. Or it could be Om Shrim Hrim Klim Klim Namaha, right? Touch the teeth. Om Krim Namaha. What is Krim? Krim, right? Is K Ri. Kri. Kri is the first syllable of Krishna. There's two syllables in Krishna, so we have Klim is one syllable. The next syllable in Gopal Mantra is Kri. Kri in Krishna, right? Klim Krishnaya. So Klim, then Kri. Right, so Kri plus Anuswara becomes Krim. So Om Krim Namaha, touch the forehead with the four fingers of right hand. Right. So now it could be also Om Shrim Hrim Klim Krim Namaha. Right. Touching the forehead. Then number 3, right? Om Shnam. Right? Shnam. Shnam. I'm not sure whether that should be, I'm going to put a question mark there because whether that should be a long A or a short A. I think it might be a short A, right? Vishnam. So Om Shnam Namaha. Touch between the eyebrows with the four fingers of the right hand, okay? Or by meditation just in front. So it can also be, if we add the other Bij mantras, Om Shrim Hrim Klim, or any combination, Shnam Namaha. Number 4, Om Yam, right? So Om Klim, Klim Krishnaya. Okay, it could be, if we break it up, I'm not sure if we break it up whether the A remains long in Krishna or not. If we see, because Krishnaya, the second word after Krim is Krishnaya. So we can break that up into Krishna Ya. Right? Krishnaya. I think it is actually. That's why I put it. That's correct. Okay. Krishnam. Nam. Ya. So I was correct in the beginning. So I had a doubt there whether the long A should be there, but it should actually be there because in the word Krishnaya, the A is long. Okay. So the next syllable is Ya at the end of Krishnaya, right? So Om Yam Namaha, touch the right ear with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Remember, I think it was said that there are 2, for the ears we use 2 syllables, yeah? So Om Yam Namaha, touch the right ear. So it could also be Om Shrim Hrim Klim or any combination, Yam Namaha. Then continuing on, we have Om Gom. So Govindaya, the first syllable of Govindaya is Gom, is go, plus Anushwara is Gom. So Om Gom Namaha, touch the left ear with the four fingers of the right hand. So it could also be with the other Bija mantras, Om Shrim Hrim Klim Gom Namaha. Then we have Vim. So Govindaya. So V is the next syllable, next akshara. So if we add V to M, we get Vim. So Om Vim Namaha, right? Touch the right eye with the four fingers of the right hand, right? Or it could also be with the other beach mantras, Om Shrim Hrim Klim Vim Namaha. Then we have Om Dam. And we have to, it's probably a silent N here, but Ndam, right? Govind, Da. So we say Da, Dam. Om Dam Namaha, touch the left eye with the four fingers of the right hand. And it could also be with the other bija mantras. It could be Om Shrim Hrim Klim or any combination, Dam Namaha. Touch the left eye with the four fingers of the right hand. Okay. So then we continue on. The next thing, Om Govindaya. Again, we have Aya. So we have Ya. Right? We have Ya. So it's again going to be Yam with the Anushwar. So Om Yam Namaha. Touch the right nostril with the four fingers, the right hand. And it could also be with the other beach mantras. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Yam Namaha. Now, we get again, after that, Go Pijana. Right? So Go. So it's going to become Gom. Om Gom Namaha. Touch the left nostril with the four fingers of the right hand. It can also be with the other beach mantras. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Gom Namaha. Then continuing on, right? After Go P is P long I is the next syllable. So P plus Anushwara is Pim. So we got Om Pim Namaha. Touch the mouth with the four fingers of the right hand, or by meditation, touch in front of the mouth. Right? And it could also be with the other bija mantras, Om Shrim Hrim Klim Pim Namaha. So then the next thing is Gopi Ja. So Ja plus Anushwara is Jam. That's the next bij mantra, right? Bij akshara. So we have Om Jam Namaha. Touch the throat with the four fingers of the right hand. Or it could be with the other bij mantras, Om Shrim Hrim Klim Jam Namaha. Touching the throat. Then we have Gopi Jan Na, right? So Na is the next syllable, the next akshara. If we add Anushwara to it, it becomes Nam. So we've got Om Nam Namaha, touch the heart or the chest with the four fingers of the right hand. It could also be with the other bija mantras, Om Shrim Hrim Klim or any combination, Nam Namaha, right? Then we have Vam, right? Gopi Jana Va, Valabhaya. So Va plus Anushwara is Vam. So Om Vam Namaha, touch the navel with the four fingers of the right hand, or it could be with the other bija mantras. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Vam Namaha. Then we have Valabha, La, D-A-double-L. So it's double L-A. So La is the next akshara, the next syllable, right? If we add Anushwara, we get Lam. So Om Lam Namaha, touch the right hip with the four fingers, the right hand, or it could be with the other beach mantras, Om Shrim Hrim Klim or any combination, Lam Namaha, right? And then we have touching the left hip, we're going to have the next, so Bala Ba. So we have Ba with a long A, aspirated Ba, right? So and we add Anushwara, we get Bam. So we have Om Shrim Hrim, Om Bam Namaha, touch the left hip, or it could be with the other beach mantras, Om Shrim Hrim Klim Bam Namaha. Okay, so now we come to, this is the hip, and so now we're going to go below the waist, and we're going to meditate meditate on touching the anus, and we're going to say Om Yam again. So Ba Ya, Bala Ya. We get Ya at the end again, so it's going to become the Anushwara is going to become Yam, the beach mantra. So Om Shrim Hrim Klim Yam Namaha. I'm sorry, Om Yam Namaha. And meditate on touch the anus, and then with the bija mantras, it will be Om Shrim Hrim Klim or any combination, Yam Namaha. Okay. Continuing on, and we're almost there. With 17th, the 17th is dealing with the last word of Gopal Mantra, which is Swaha. So the first syllable of Swaha, the 17th syllable of the mantra is Swa, right, with a long A. So we have the Bija Mantra of Swam, Swam. So Om Swam Namaha, touch the right knee with the 4 fingers of the right hand. And of course, this is also done only by meditation, because we don't touch below the waist or any place which is normally considered to be contaminated or not clean. Although we did the Buddha Shuddhi, we consider everything to be clean, but we don't. So if you want to, I guess if you want to touch the knees, you can, but normally people don't do that. It's usually by meditation. So okay. So Om Swam Namaha, touch the right knee. Om, or with the Bija mantras, it could be Om Shrim Hrim Klim Swam Namaha. And the last part of the Akshay Nyasa, this is actually the Akshay Nyasa as it's first told, right? The last one, it would be Swaha. It's also a longer A, so Ha. So adding the Anushwara to it to make a Bij mantra makes it Ham, right? So we have Om Ham Namaha, touch the left knee with the 4 fingers of the right hand, or by meditation. And it could also have the Bij mantras added to it. So it could be Om Shrim Hrim Klim or any combination, Ham Namaha. And again, touching the left knee. So that's how the Akshay Nyasa is done. Now, the next verse talks about Shristi Akshay Nyasa. So there's Shristi. I'm not sure if we're going to have Stiti. Yeah, we have Shristi, Stiti, and Samhara. Okay, so here, what I've done is I've laid out all the 3. Now, I'm unclear exactly at the moment whether all 3 have to be done by one person, or whether they are just whether they're just done by particular people in particular ashrams. There may be different prayogas about this, and so we're not quite sure exactly why the Shristi, Sthiti, and Samhara Nyasas are used. But anyway, we're going to go through the orders here. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to just chant the mantras, and I'll chant them without the extra bija mantras. But if you want to put the extra bija mantras in, you can. They're in brackets here. Shrim, Hrim, Klim can be added to any one of these mantras. But we'll just go through quickly. And so Shristi, Akshay Nyasa, the Shristi, Sthiti, and Samhara Nyasas are mentioned in the same verse in Hari Bhakti Vilas, verse 160 of the 5th Vilas, and this is how they would be done. Right, so Om Klim Namaha, touch top of the head with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Krim Namaha, touch the forehead with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Shnam Namaha, touch between the eyebrows with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Yam Namaha, touch the right ear with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Gom Namaha, touch the left ear with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Vim Namaha, touch the right eye with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Dam Namaha, touch the left eye with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Yam Namaha, touch the right nostril with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Gom Namaha, touch the left nostril with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Pim Namaha, touch the mouth with the 4 fingers of the right hand, of course by meditation. Om Shrim Namaha, Om Jam Namaha, touch the throat with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Nam Namaha, touch the heart or chest with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Vam Namaha, touch the navel with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Ram Namaha, touch the right hip with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Pam Namaha, touch the left hip with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Yam Namaha, touch the genital with the 4 fingers of the right hand, or by meditation in front of the genital. Here it said genital. Previously in the other Akshay Nyasa it mentioned anus, but here it's saying genital. Okay. Om, that may be in something given in the Tika, in the commentary. Okay, so Om Swam Namaha, touch the right and left knees with the 4 fingers. So right and left knees together, right, touch the right and then the left, right? Then Om Ham Namaha, touch the right and left feet. So this is actually a different nyasa, although it's an Akshay Nyasa, but there are different places to be touched, slightly different places to touch. No anus, and then but they've added, right, touching the feet. the right and left feet. Of course, we don't touch, we touch in front and we meditate on touching. So Om Ham Namaha, touch the right and left feet. First the right, then the left. Okay, so that was the Nyasa. Now, the Nyasa, we're going to touch the same places as we did in the Nyasa. The Shristi means creation, Sthiti means maintenance. So we're going to touch the same places. I'm going to go through it quickly. But it's in a different order. The syllables are going to be in a different order, right? For instance, here we don't start with Klim, right? We start with Nam, right? So we start with Nam. So we start with the heart, right? So we'll see how it goes here. So Om Nam Namaha. And of course, you can, of course, optionally add these other Bija Mantra, Shrim, Hrim, Klim. So Om Nam Namaha, touch the heart with the 4 fingers, right, of the right hand. Or Om Vam Namaha, touch the navel with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Lam Namaha, touch the right hip with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Vam Namaha, touch the left hip with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Yam Namaha, touch the genital with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Swam Namaha, touch the right and left knees with the 4 fingers of the right hand or by meditation. The Om Ham Namaha, touch the right and left feet with the 4 fingers of the right hand or by meditation. Om Klim Namaha, touch the top of the head, right? So we've gone from the heart down to the feet, and then we're going to do from the head down, right? Touch the top of the head with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Krim Namaha, touch the forehead with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Touch then between the eyebrows, right? So the top of the head, the forehead, and then in between the eyebrows. Right? Om Shnam Namaha, touch between the eyebrows with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Right? So then we have Om Yam Namaha, touch the right ear with the 4 fingers of the right hand. And then Om Gom Namaha, touch the left finger with the left ear with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Vim Namaha, touch the right eye with the 4 fingers of the right hand. And Om Dam Namaha, touch the left eye with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Yam Namaha, touch the right nostril with the 4 fingers of the right hand. And Om Om Namaha, touch the left nostril with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Pim Namaha, touch the mouth or just in front of the mouth, right, by meditation with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Jam Namaha, touch the throat. So we did from the heart down to the feet, and then from the top of the head down to the throat, like that. And that is the Nyasa, right? And accordingly, we changed the order of the syllables in the Gopal Mantra accordingly, right? So it's all based upon the first one, the Akshay Nyasa, or the Nyasa, let's say, the Nyasa. So this is the Sthiti order. Now the Samhara order is going to be the reverse of the Shristi order. So we're going to start with the last syllable of the Gopal Mantra and go to the first syllable. So here we go. So Om Ham Namaha, touch the right and left feet, right, or by meditation. Om Swam Namaha, touch the right and left knees, or by with the 4 fingers of the right hand, or by meditation. Om Yam Namaha, touch the genital with the 4 fingers of the right hand, or by meditation. Om Bham Namaha, touch the left hip, right? In this case, when we're doing the Samhara, we touch the left. If there are 2 places on the body, which one is right, one is left, we touch the left one first, whereas in the Shristi sequence, we touch the right one first. So left hip, right? Om Bham Namaha, touch the left hip with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Lam Namaha, touch the right hip with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Vam Namaha, touch the navel with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Nam Namaha, touch the heart or chest with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Jam Namaha, touch the throat with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Pim Namaha, touch the mouth, or just in front of the mouth, right, with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Gom Namaha, touch the left nostril with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Yam Namaha, touch the right nostril with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Dam Namaha, touch the left eye with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Vim Namaha, touch the right eye with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Gom Namaha, touch the left ear with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Yam Namaha, touch the right ear with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Shnam Namaha, touch the in between the eyebrows with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Krim Namaha, touch the forehead, right, with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Klim Namaha, touch the top of the head with the 4 fingers of the right hand. So that is how to do Gopal and Shristi, Sthiti, and Samhara versions of the Gopal Mantra, Akshara Nyasa. Okay. Now we have the Paranyasa. So the Paranyasa, Pada normally means the feet. So Paranyasa is done as follows, and this is according to text 161 to 164 of the 5th chapter of Bhakti Vilasa. So first thing is, Om, touch the top of the head with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Klim, Klim Namaha, touch the right and left eyes with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Klim Krishnaya Namaha, touch the mouth, or just in front of the mouth by meditation with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Gom Govindaya Namaha, touch the chest or the heart with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Om Gom Gopijana Vallabhaya Namaha, touch the anus, and again this is by meditation, meditate on that with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Swam Swaha Namaha, touch the right first and then the left feet for the 4 fingers of the right hand by meditation, right? We're almost finished here with the nyasas and then we'll complete for today. Om, touch the top of the head with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Klim, Klim, Swaha, touch the right and the left eyes with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Klim Krishnaya Swaha, touch the mouth with the 4 fingers of the right hand, or of course by meditation. Gom Govindaya Swaha, touch the heart or chest with the right 4 fingers of the right hand. Gom Gopijana Vallabhaya Swaha, touch the anus again by meditation. 4 fingers of the right hand. Swam Swaha Swaha, touch the right and left feet with the first right then left of the 4 fingers of the right hand. Now again, we have continued. Om, touch the top of the head with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Klim Klim Namaha Swaha, touch the right and left eyes with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Klim Krishnaya Namaha Swaha, touch the mouth, or again by meditation with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Gom Govindaya Swaha, touch the heart with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Gom Gopijana Vallabhaya Namaha Swaha, touch the anus again by meditation with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Swam Swaha Namaha Swaha, right? Touch the right and left feet with the 4 fingers of the right hand by meditation, right? And then we have Klim Krishnaya Swaha, touch the anus again by meditation, right? With the 4 fingers of the right hand. Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Swaha, touch the right and left cheeks or throat with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Swaha, touch the entire body from head to toe. It's like a Vyapaka Nyasa, touching the entire body from head to toe by meditation, right? Okay. So that is how we work up to using the whole mantra. The whole mantra comes at the end here. Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Swaha. Now we're going to have the Rishyadi Nyasa. A Rishyadi Nyasa, again, we did the Rishyadi Nyasa at the beginning, but we did it only in the way that we normally know the mantra Nyasa. Now there's another way to do it, and the other way is being described in the 165th verse of the 5th Vilasa. So, Om Astara Sakshara, Sri Gopal Mantra, Sri Narada Rishaye Namaha, touch the top of the head with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Gayatre Chandase Namaha, touch the mouth, or just in front of the mouth by meditation, right, with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Then Sakala Loka Mangala Sriman Nandatanaya Devataye Namaha, touch the heart, right, or the middle of the chest with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Reem Bijaya Namaha, touch the right side of the chest with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Swaha Shaktyaya Namaha, touch the left side of the chest with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Krishna Prakrityaya Namaha, touch the chest, again, the heart, with the 4 fingers of the right hand. And Durgatistatya Devataye Abhimantraya Namaha. Yogaya Viniyogaya Namaha, touch the heart again. Okay, so that is the way that we do it with the first version from the Krama Dipika. If you're doing the Krama Dipika mantra nyasa and you're following that, then you do this particular nyasa according to that. This Rishyadi nyasa according to that. If you're following the one from the Samohan Tantra, then alternatively, right, in Hari Bhakti Vilasa 5, 147 to 248, right, you're going to use the following. Om Astara Sakshara Shri Gopal Mantra Sri Narada Rishaye Namaha, touch the top of the head with 4 fingers of the right hand. Gayatri Chandase Namaha, touch the mouth, or just in front of the mouth, right, by meditation, with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Gopa Vesha Dhara Krishna Devataye Namaha, touch the heart with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Manmata Sangya Klim Bijaya Namaha, touch the right side of the chest with the 4 fingers of the right hand. Now remember this Priya, or we could, if we want to add Radha here, because Priya is Radha, she's the Shakti of Krishna, right? So Priya Radha Shakti Namaha on the left side of the chest with the four fingers of the right hand. Parameshchani Astyadishtatri Devataya Namaha, touch the heart with the four fingers of the right hand. Chaturvarga Palavaptyai Viniyogaya Namaha, touch the heart. Right? And so that is the end. That is the end of the nyasas. And that last nyasa is, of course, done if we're using the mantra nyasa from the Samohan Tantra, which is the alternate to the one in the Kramadipika. Okay, so now we move on to mudras. And so we'll be covering that in our next session. So we'll talk about some mudras. And so, are there any questions on all of the nyasas?
It's a lot of nyasas.
It's a lot of nyasas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
the
question.
idea is to become completely conscious, completely absorbed in the Gopal Mantra. In the Gopal Mantra, in the full Gopal Mantra, in the meaning of the Gopal Mantra, in the deity of the Gopal Mantra, in the Rishi of the Gopal Mantra, in the meter of the Gopal Mantra, in the words of the Gopal Mantra, and the syllables of the Gopal Mantra. To be completely absorbed in the Gopal Mantra, and to place the Gopal Mantra in as many ways as possible on the body, to purify the body, because we are going to be touching Gopal. So this Gopal Mantra, think of the Gopal Mantra as being like gloves. Think of Gopal as being radioactive, and Gopal Mantra is like our lead gloves that we have to wear in order to touch the Gopal Mantra, to touch the Gopal deity.
Interesting.
So
yeah.
this is the same. This is the same in any tantric puja. The idea is to completely. It's also considered. It's also in Sanskrit. It's also sometimes called a hangrapasana. It means turning. We're trying to make the body as spiritual as possible, because we want to touch the deity, and we don't want to cause any offense by touching the deity with anything less than the deity himself. So what do we need to touch the deity? We need gloves made of the deity. We need a body made of the syllables of the Gopal Mantra, which is the deity. We need to be basically the deity to touch the deity. We need to be totally spiritual. So we're covering ourselves completely in a suit of Gopal Mantra for touching Lord Gopal.
That is such a cool description.
And our whole being and our whole consciousness has to be absorbed in the Gopal Mantra before we touch him.
Wow. That's a really cool meditation, actually. And it'd be neat, I guess, to do that even before you did any japa as well.
Okay, not every one of these nyasas has to be done before japa, but for instance, we should be doing the Buddha Shuddhi. We should be doing simple nyasas, the simple Anga Nyasa and Paranysa and the Mantra Nyasa of Gopal Mantra before we do japa. So we can for every mantra for every mantra there's a mantra nyasa. For every mantra there's a dhyana mantra. For every mantra there's a Paranyasa and an Anga Nyasa. And then there may be some other nyasas. Here, because we're doing the deity worship, it goes through a lot of different nyasas and things like that. We could go through all these nyasas for doing when the acharya or the guru does the initiation. He's dealing with the pot and he's calling Krishna into the pot, and he has to worship Krishna in the pot. So in order to worship Krishna in the pot, he has to first of all go through all these nyasas, right? When he does initiation, and then he has to he's going to do nyasa on the body of the disciple also. He's going to do nyasa and he's going to teach the disciple the mantra, but there's no use in teaching the disciple the mantra without teaching the nyasas also. He has to also teach him the nyasas. So see why it takes a long time. It's not just getting the mantra in initiation. It's the meaning of the mantra. It's the dhyana. It's the mantra nyasa for it. It's the how to do the sthiti, shrishti, and samhara versions of it. For what purpose? All of this has to be explained by the acharya to the disciple, right? Otherwise, he's not fully involved in the worship. He doesn't become fully Krishna conscious. This is Gopal consciousness, Gopal Mantra consciousness. Okay, so anyway, this is if it gets too complicated, when it gets too complicated, then the mind wanders. Okay, but the idea is that these people who are doing this, mostly they're Brahmins and things. They're Brahmins, so they're very intelligent people. They need something very complex to concentrate their mind. So concentrate their mind on it. So they concentrated their mind on the Gopal Mantra, every aspect of the Gopal Mantra. And it's the same thing. If you want to worship Narasimha, you can go through a similar thing with Narasimha. If you want to worship, Rama, if you want to worship any form of the Lord. So this is the tantric system. The tantric system is to absorb yourself totally 100% in meditating on the deity and the deity's mantra, and then by using the syllables of the deity mantra to purify yourself, and then you can become a true servant, a true purified servant of the Lord, and worship him properly.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so we got through a lot. That was the last thing on Nyasa, hopefully, and we're going to continue on, and we'll start getting to the Avahana and everything, and offering of different upacharas and things. That'll come next.
I would really like to see something like this done, maybe in a slightly simpler way, but for the Maha Mantra. Just to be able to concentrate on japa, just because, it's just, doing a lot of japa every day, it just, sometimes you lose focus very easily.
The mantra nyasa for the Hare Krishna mantra, or some people call it the Hare Rama mantra, right? Because depending on which version you go. But the mantra nyasa for it is given right there in Kalishantara Upanishad. So we're not exactly sure, what the dhyana mantra would be. The dhyana mantra would be meditating upon the meaning of the mantra. So there's probably a dhyana mantra for Hare Krishna mantra or Hare Rama mantra, but we can work out how to do the mantra nyasa. We can definitely do the Anga Nyasa and the Paranysa of that mantra. So, for instance, there's a book that I have printed by Ramakrishna Mission in South India. They're pretty good, and they have done one called Japa Vidhanam. So Japa Vidhanam, it gives how to do the japa of each particular mantra. So it has all these different mantras, and it says how to do the japa of them. So it includes how to do the nyasas, how to do the mantra nyas, how to do the Paranysa, how to do the Anga Nyasa, what order. And then what is the meditation, the dhyana mantra, and that's what you need to know. And that's every time somebody initiates somebody into a mantra, he should be teaching the dhyana mantra, the mantra nyasa, the dhyana mantra, the kara, and the Anga Nyasas at least to the person, right? Because otherwise, without these things, how does one get the siddhi of the mantra? How does one get perfection of the mantra? Now, the thing is, because these are called japangas, these are angas of the mantra, right? So when you get something, you also get, it's like buying a car and buying the optional package, the option package. So somebody just buys a car and he's stripped down, and there's no extra options, right? And the other person wants all the options. He wants all the bells and whistles. So all the bells and whistles makes the experience of the car much nicer for the person. But sometimes people, they don't have enough money for the option package, so they don't do it, right? But people who really want to get the most out of the vehicle, right, they go for the optional package and they get all the things, the extras. So this is all the bells and whistles of Gopal Mantra. But really, what is the purpose? I wanted to ask the question, what is the purpose of getting initiated into a mantra if you don't understand the esoteric meaning of the mantra, which is beyond all of these rituals and things like that? The esoteric inner meaning of the mantra is very important to know. So what is the purpose of getting initiated into a mantra and just chanting it like a parrot and not knowing the esoteric meaning of the mantra, right? In Sri Vaishnavism, they have a whole set of literature called the Rahasyagranthas, where they teach all the esoteric meanings of every single syllable in the mantra. of every mantra that's given in initiation. So after initiation, people are supposed to study those. And for instance, Ramanuja got the mantra from his guru, Parinambiyo Mahapurna, but then he went to another guru to teach him the internal meaning, the esoteric meaning of the mantras. He went to Goshti Purna or Tirukoshti or Nambi. And that person taught him the inner meaning of the mantra, the inner meaning of all the syllables and all the meanings of the mantra. And if you look on my website, if you look on my YouTube channel, there's a book called Mumukshapadi, which is one of the books of esoteric meanings, and we have on that. I have got a series of lectures on that by myself, but also by Dr. Alwar in Mysore. He explains the Om Namo Narayana mantra in detail. It'll explain Om, Namo, and Narayana. It'll explain the syllables in Om, the syllables in Nama, and the syllables in Narayana. It'll explain everything and explain all the esoteric meanings of it. So that's there on my YouTube channel if anybody wants to check it out. Now, the thing is, we could do the same thing for the Gopal Mantra. We could do exactly the same thing for the Gopal Mantra. Nobody's done it yet. But there are books out there. The Pramadipika, I'm sure, goes into more details about every syllable in the Gopal Mantra. And we have other mantras also. We have the Kamadeva Gayatri. We have other mantras which are very much used by Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And we can go into minute detail about how they're made up and what they mean, like that. But basically, we have to know the esoteric meanings behind like for instance in Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Okay, so we have Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopijana Vallabhaya, right? What is the esoteric meanings behind those three names of God? Krishna,
I don't understand that.
Govinda, Gopijana Vallabha. Do you know what the esoteric meanings behind them are?
Is that referring to Sambandha? Prayojana.
Sambandha, Abhidaya, and Prayojana, because which are also called in usual Vedantic terms, they're called Tattvahita and Purushartha, right? Or the principle, the means, and the goal. Okay, so we have in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, it's understood that we have I believe it's Madan Mohan, Govindaji, and Gopinath are three deities of the Goswamis in Vrindavan, which represent Sambandha, Jnana, Abhidaya, and Prayojana, right? So in the Gopal Mantra, they are expressed in the Gopal Mantra as Krishnaya, Govindaya, and Gopijana Vallabha. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you ask people who are initiated into that mantra, you ask anybody that, and they don't know that. And that's just the beginning of the understanding. That's not the full understanding. That's just the beginning. That's scratching the surface of the understanding. So the esoteric meaning of the mantra, of the Gopal Mantra, needs to be gone into very deeply. And there are definitely texts on this, right? It's just and the guru should be teaching their disciples this. But see, for instance, we have Keshav Maharaj in the Gaudiya Math writing in his introduction to Archana Paddhati that, we don't need to do nyasas, we don't need to do pranayam, we don't need to do all these sort of things. This is all part of Japanga Archana, it's not part of Raghunuga Bhakti, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we can make an argument like that, but most people are not going to go so deeply into these things. But at least some people might want to do that. Right? Some people might want to do that. Yeah?
For sure.
Okay, so in Sri Vaishnavism, it's a whole set of literature. There's a whole set of literature which goes into this. It's called Rahasyagranthas. In Gaudiya Vaishnavism, I'm sure it's there. I'm sure that literature is there. It may be secret, or it may be, I don't know who teaches it, or if anybody teaches it, or if anybody's into it right now. But we can see. Right. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Namaskaram.